the second episode of Sit Down with SoSouth. I'm Sarah Fazil, and my guest requires no introduction, formally speaking. You can call him so many things. You can call him an actor, a theatre artist. You can call him a journalist, a media personality. He has donned so many hats, and that's why I say he needs no introduction. But for you guys, Prakash Belawadi on the show. Welcome, sir.
Hi, Sarah.
Sir, I'm so stunned with the plethora of work that you've done. So many languages, and you've touched upon here and there and there. Can I call you a polyglot so that you know so many languages?
I'm not very good at languages, really, but under pressure, I think I can learn and speak languages. So I have dubbed for films myself in Malayalam, certainly Hindi, in Tamil, and of course Kannada, which is my language. But they've also used somebody else to dub for one Tamil film and one Marathi film, and I feel very bad about that. But I've dubbed for myself in Telugu also. Right. Yeah, I've spoken Telugu.
But if I have to ask you, sir, in these many languages that you have, put your hand in, have you ever found like a comfort spot apart from Kannada in the next language?
For me, English is the most comfortable language. Yeah.
Okay. As we know, Mumbai Diaries season 2. It has just come out. You've wrapped up that project, and it's one of my favorite characters, Dr. Subramaniam, from season 1 to season 2. A little bit about the experience of this.
See, one is Nikhil Advani, because there is something about Nikhil, that spirit that he carries is always there in his work also. He's a very passionate person, he loves India. And, he loves stories of people who are brave, people who have character and integrity. And you see, that's the spirit of Mumbai Diaries, for instance, people have integrity, who are committed to their work, yes. and who will cross barriers of gender and religion and language and social class. And I love that about him. And I think it's because of that the series has that character. And I'm very lucky that he's fond of me. Yeah. And we do work together. And
some memories of what you take back from Dr. Subramaniam's role, putting both the seasons together.
See, I always see that Subramaniam has no inner. We don't reveal a backstory for him, what kind of family he has and such. But that it's as though the only thing that he inhabits is the hospital. And what I like about that is that he has. I was told by the writers of Mumbai Diaries in season 1 that when they started working on it, he told the writing team that these are the characters. We have not done the casting, but the Subramanian character you write for Prakash. I believe that's what he said.
Subramaniam was written for Prakash Belawadi, we can say.
So to accommodate my bad Hindi accent. Yeah.
It was beautiful, sir. So we know that, correct me if I'm wrong, 40 years in the theatre industry. I read in an article you saying, ask me why I stayed in theatre for 40 years. And I want to ask you that Bangalore is in for a treat from 19th of October to 22nd of October, because you are bringing the play Parva to Bangalore, right? Which is an adaptation of S.L. Bhairappa's novel. And we want to talk to you extensively about it. If you can tell us, from what I read, 900 pages the original version, brought down to 600 pages in translated version, and you are putting that in the form of an 8-hour stretch of a play, with, of course, intervals in between. Throw some light and tell us, sir.
The original novel, which is in Kannada, is about 600 odd pages, 630 pages is something. But when it's translated into English, it becomes 900 pages. Because of the nature of the English language, where you have prepositions, you have of, you have the definite article, the, and English has words cannot be joined like we can do in Indian languages. We can make up new words, but which is casual to Indian languages. which makes the language more efficient. And we don't have the concept of spelling in Indian languages. What we have is the syllable is the spelling. So if you have to write my name in Hindi or in Kannada, we write, pra is a letter, ka is a letter, and sha is a letter. So we don't have a concept of Praskash. We don't have to spell it. You just have you write the syllables themselves. So you in Indian languages, it's always crunched. And it expands when you translate. So that was the challenge, to how to keep the efficiency of the text when I got it, to get it down in Kannada from 630 pages to about 200 pages on A4, to get it down to 230 pages in Kannada, and to maintain the 230 pages in English was a great challenge. Right. And I've done that. And the other problem was that, see, he uses a very strange mix of colloquial sounding Kannada, but he also sets it apart from normal language.
Conversational Kannada.
So he keeps it. He needs to elevate it to the story of ancient times,
right.
But he wants to keep the conversation. He wants the human touch, which always has to be today. Absolutely. Right? So to get that into English was a little
bit challenging.
Yeah, it's also exciting, and I've done that. If you
actors take to that, sir, because I'm pretty sure that you're working with like you say, the current generation lot, right? And for them to be, I'm not really sure how many of them are so well versed with the Kannada, as you say, the olden days Kannada to the Kannada now. So tell us a little bit about that process.
See, in Kannada, it was not a problem because I used the dialogue that Dr. Bhairappa himself is used in the novel. Perfect. I didn't change it. I just used that. But when I'm doing it in English, then how will the actors receive the English? And I'll tell you what pleases me the most. When I did the first reading for it, everybody read the play. And nobody even made a remark on the fact that it was in English.
Okay.
Because that is the effect I wanted. It should sound so casual.
That it's easy to take to.
And it sound casual, should be natural to that text. It is the characters are from the Mahabharata.
Yes.
But the story is not the Mahabharats, because it takes the situations in the Mahabharata, right, but it actually makes the conversations, they're actually Bhairappa's own imagination. Mm-hmm. I mean, as he himself said, it is 20% the Mahabharata, but 80% what I thought. Okay. So it's a mix of people talking to each other. Absolutely. And also, streams of consciousness, what their thoughts. Right. So that is what I've rendered into the play text as dialogue, because theatre is dialogue. So, they just read it and they've not commented on it. Yeah. And I feel very pleased about that because it means the text is working. They don't realize that, it doesn't, it's for them, it's
no roadblock there.
There is no,
it's
no translation for them. It's just casual,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When you said you brought it down from 800 to 200 pages, then you said a little bit about Mahabharata. And of course, I don't want you to give away everything about the play. We want that to remain, right? But I was also reading some details about the play that you sent to me, where we spoke about this being adopted in Mysore also. It had 43 shows that were totally booked and stuff like that. From perspective of the Bangalore audience, it's being performed in Chowdhury Memorial Hall, right? I've always seen that Bangalore has been open to all languages of theatre, of course. Even though we say that the heart of a Kannadiga says, but we would love to see more of our language of Kannada flourishing in the city. And how do you think Parva, because it's originally in Kannada, taking to English, what do you anticipate or what do you feel about how Bangalore is going to take to it from Prakash Belawadi's perspective?
I don't know. I'm like, this is an experiment and I don't know how they will take it. I'm already being scolded by my friends saying, it's a long holiday weekend and are you crazy? Why are you doing 4 shows in English? And, are you crazy? Who will sit and watch a play for 8 or 9 hours? Because, it'll be 8 hours and with the breaks. So I'm going to be giving 4 breaks. So it'll probably be close to 9 hours by the time they finish. Then they would have never done it, is what they say. But, we have a lead actor in the play, Abhijit Shetty, who says that people binge watch Mumbai Diaries season 2, for instance. So the people watch Dumb's cricket matches, for so long.
You've been quite candid on that, yes?
Really, I mean, like some of those matches they are saying, we can't even believe that those matches are like fair, sometimes. So, and these, you're cheering for his side where nobody from your side is there. So, I mean, if you're willing to waste your time 200 days a year on that nonsense, maybe it's not.
People should come and try this also.
They should try it. You'll be completely stunned with the views he has, he gets the subaltern characters to speak. He gets all the women to speak. He speaks against, what we call prabhutva. He speaks against the ruling class. He's against their manipulations, against their corruption, their partisan nature. All that he speaks about, and it's fantastic. He questions, that's a great line. Somebody asked me, what's your favorite line in it? And Krishna is not a miraculous person. He's just a soldier. He's just a soldier. Okay. What he does is he talks sense. He makes no miracles. He doesn't come and rescue Draupadi. He doesn't do it. And there are no gods in it. There's no miraculous birth. Nothing. So he's changed the story, but what he argues for is of stuff that is forever, like it's like a Shakespearean thing. You can always do that play because it's about humans and their follies and what they think is right and wrong. So the line I'm talking about is Krishna tells Dharmaraya. See, Yudhishthira is considered a kind of paragon of virtue, that is a good person. But Bhairapa has very little respect for him. He doesn't see him as a good person. What he did to his wife and brothers, he doesn't forgive him. Why should he forgive him? Okay. Anyway, Krishna tells Dharmaraya, he says, Dharmaja, the problem with you is that you think what is in practice itself is dharma. What is customary itself is dharma. And what you think, what you chant every day is knowledge. No, that is radical, So he says the idea of dharma is not what, the rewards you get in heaven. Right. The idea of dharma is that what you do here, what you say and what you do here. And that is what dharma is. That is what he says. And that's a great idea.
That's a great principle, right?
Yeah. So when we did it in Mysore, in Kannada, it was easy because Bhairapa has many fans and the senior actors of Rangana are very, very, very good actors. We got a mix of other actors, also junior actors also who came there. And it was very good. And it traveled from Mysore. We went to Mumbai and Pune and closed it. 43 shows, okay? The first 3 or 4 shows, I think we did for close to 11 hours. People just sat. Just sat and watched. Not a single person has left the show. Right. I think on the first day, 3 people were going out, and I'm always standing outside. I never watch my plays. I've not seen Mumbai Diaries, the series. I feel embarrassed to watch myself. So anyway, I was standing outside and 3 people came out and I said, in the last act, we brought it to Bangalore. Actually, you don't know about this. No. We didn't even advertise it. We just announced it. There are 2 shows in Bangalore at the Ravindra Kalakshetra. And the tickets were sold out in 48 hours. Like just word of mouth. People got to know, and we didn't even publicize it. It was gone. And I have a video of somebody sent me from the show. After sitting there for 8.5 hours, people stood up and applauded non-stop. Everybody. For about 15-20 minutes? 15 minutes they applauded. I read this. Everybody just standing and just applauding, It's incredible. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So much that you've said about our play, which brings me to my next question about acting in theatre to acting before the camera, and you've done both of it. And going in depth into both these perspectives, into both these worlds, I want you to tell us, I know I've read about what you feel about how different theatre is from the film industry, right? But What are those little nuances that you would like to tell the people when it comes to Prakash Belawadi as an actor before the camera and as a theatre artist? Some light on that.
See, as a theatre person, I don't identify myself as an actor, although I've acted. See, I'm going to act in this play. I'm going to do 2 roles in this play now because some actors fell ill and dropped out, and so I just have to fill those roles. I always act like that in theatre. I'm not an actor. I'm a backstage person, lighting and direction and such. Basically, that's my game. But in film, I'm an actor. Although I've directed and I've written, I'm mainly an actor in film. See, the acting in film is, you don't do it continuously. You don't do scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. You schedule a film production and shoot maybe the 40th page first, then you do second page, then you do 87th page. That's how film work is done. So you don't build a character through the shooting. You should know what the character is from the beginning. And you should know, say supposing you are shooting the 84th scene.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. You must know that you're carrying the story, the burden of what has happened for the 83 scenes and how it has impacted on the character. And you have to act like that in that scene. But when the next scene, if you're doing the third, you slightly alter the character to play the third scene.
So you have to know the entire script.
You have to know your graph also in that script,
Absolutely.
okay? In film. Yeah. And there are some actors who are very good at it. See, for instance, Irfan was brilliant, in that. Nawazuddin's great. Right. Manoj Bajpayee. There are these great actors, who can actually do this. Especially in a series, it's even more difficult because you may be doing... a series is way longer than a film. A film may have 100 scenes. A series may have, 500, 600 scenes. You may be doing the 500th scene, and then in the morning and in the afternoon you may be doing the third scene, and you should know that story so well to play this or that, right? So some actors can do that very well, and that is film. But theatre is not like that. But you get time to build that character. So you rehearse for 3 months, and or 2 months if it's a shorter play. And then you have time to run that graph. And I should not do this yet. I should. Right. And even in a monologue, in a play, for instance, when you build the monologue, because you practice it together, as let's say you have 2 pages of dialogue that you need to speak, you practice it together. Yeah. But in a film, it may be broken up. So you should know that when it's broken, because it's edited. Yeah. You should be consistent that you build the monologue graph correctly. So those differences are there. But I'll tell you, for me, the main thing is that cinema is a recorded medium. Yes. So the audience does not affect the play. Yes. Right? It's recorded. It's recorded. It's cut. It's edited. Yeah. But a play, over the 4 shows we do now, 19th show will affect how we do the 20th show. Absolutely. These 2 will affect how we do the 21st. So it is the audience response that molds the play a little bit and affects it. So because it's not recorded, the experience is created. The actors, the players make the experience for the audience. The experience happens to the audience, right? Not to the players, right?
It's all live before you.
Yeah, and when the players are crying on stage, they're not unhappy. No, they're not unhappy either. Yeah. When they're crying, absolutely, but actually they're just acting, and they can produce tears.
But they can produce real tears, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they do. They can produce real sweat. Yeah. They can produce shivering and hoarseness of voice and all they can produce. Okay. But when the audience is crying, they feel the sadness of it. That's why they cry. But they're not sad either. Yeah, they're not sad either. Yeah. They go out and say such a beautiful play. It's not the crying that happens in real life, right? That's an aesthetic of the experience. It's not the experience itself. Yeah. So that magic belongs only to the theatre.
Have you ever experimented, like you said, in theatre? One point that caught my attention now is what you said. is that in theatre you build it over months and you mold it. But has Prakash Belawadi as a theatre personality ever found himself on stage saying, I'll give it a different touch today, here, now?
It happens on stage all the time. Not just me, everybody.
Some people don't have it, sir. If you notice, some people might be like, what if I might end up making a glitch by trying to go a little away from the usual?
It depends on the
I'm
act.
pretty sure it's not difficult for you to do that.
No, because but I'm a nuisance with that because I'm just changing all the time, so I'll keep trying all the time and it can throw off the other actor many times. But because some actors say stick to what we. Yes. No, I don't change the
You
lines.
don't change the lines, but I mean to say, like the maybe a different action,
Action I may do. Yeah,
Right?
I may do that.
something of that nature.
I may do something differently from before.
Has that caught your actors off guard anytime? And
It certainly got my director, off guard sometimes, and I get notes saying, don't do that.
even in the movies?
Movies is a different thing because you can do another take.
Oh yeah, but that's there.
There, I don't like it. We'll do it one more. They can do. What will you do on stage? So yeah.
Perfect, sir. This has been like commendable. But can you experiment more in which medium you feel?
Theater you can experiment. It's just, theater is an actor's medium. A director is really nothing in theater.
Right.
Once the show begins,
Right.
the director doesn't exist. But in film, the director is everything.
From start to the end.
Yeah, the director controls the film.
Right.
An actor does not know how he's going to be used. Both of us are talking.
Yeah.
A director may actually put your face
Yeah.
because he may like your reaction to what I'm saying more than what I'm saying.
Right.
How
Yeah.
So he uses my text, my speech, but the action he uses you.
Is you, yeah.
This control the director has, but the director has no control over actors on stage. So the chance for experimentation, for experiments or trying new things is there for actors only in theater. But the chance to experiment is there for directors on stage.
Yeah, like in Parva.
I would be really annoyed, I think.
There.
So I don't watch because I get really annoyed. Okay.
Okay.
Because what actors do is when they like the response, they'll play for it.
Right.
And I think that loss of innocence, is
Right.
I feel I get hurt by that they've changed it.
Yeah.
So usually I don't go and watch.
When they're performing? What about the little concerns of what if this happens? What if that happens? This shouldn't happen, maybe.
Because I see when they're doing, in the last stages of rehearsals, we see how they're doing.
Satisfied with that?
That's my work. Actually, I have no other work.
Okay.
My work is finished with the thing. If they go and do it on stage, I'll feel like if sometimes I'll catch a show in a run like this on the third day or something.
Yeah.
I may come and watch from the light room what they're doing.
Okay.
And if I see they're not doing it correctly, then I'll send a message saying, what you're doing is rubbish and all that. I'll say.
You're so okay.
I'm very rude. Yeah. Because I feel genuinely angry and hurt. So I'll do that. And I like them. I like actors. And although I'm abusing them all the time, I really like actors. Especially my actors. You think about these people. They all have jobs.
Yeah.
They have careers, they have businesses to run.
Yeah.
And they're there at, where we are rehearsing, at Naresh Narasimhan's office, the Cobalt, on Church Street.
Yeah.
They come there in the morning, in traffic. Then they stay there till midnight. Every day. And what can I pay them? Usually we don't pay at all in theatre. But even if I paid them, what can I pay? See, supposing, they work for 3 months. What can I pay them for 3 months?
Right.
What kind of dedication is that? I'm here. They're rehearsing now.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm not there. They're rehearsing without me, not just as a director, as an actor.
Yeah.
Somebody is standing there for me,
For you and doing that role.
doing those lines, for the other actors. What kind of dedication is that? So I'm obliged to them, and I'm lucky to have them.
You said actors, sir, and I heard about how well, you spoke about your theatre troupe. from regional cinema to Hindi industry. As much as I would want to explore so much, but I will just ask you a basic question. How has it been working with actors from Kannada, Tamil, Hindi, some unforgettable stuff, or some particular moments which really stole your heart, or some which really made you say, what?
Actually, I'll tell a story that I don't know whether I've ever said it in public. I may have told friends. I don't think I've said it in an interview. I was, in those early days, Bijoy Nambiar, who was in Bangalore as a theatre boy,
Yes.
Then, he became a filmmaker. He was from Bombay in any case. And he called me and he said, will you do a role in Wazir?
Yes.
The money was very small, but I agreed because, I would be acting with, Mr. Bachchan, Farhan and Akhtar and Bachchan in the same scene. Can you imagine? A small role, but I said, I'll come and do. It doesn't matter, So they put me in some crummy hotel, but I still went. And my Hindi is atrocious, okay? So those days, you can imagine, it was even worse. So, and I went and we did the first rehearsal. And I have to say, there's a line I have to say, get him out of here, okay? So as soon as we finished the rehearsal, Mr. Bachchan said, get him out of here, he said. And, I didn't know whether he was serious or not. It took me a while to realize how he is. Actually, he's always in character.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right.
And he's very funny, okay? So, and that day, by end of that day, we had spoken a little. And he had said, Bijoy, I have to go at 8:30. I heard that. And he doesn't come with script or anything. He knows all the lines, okay? So we were shooting, I'm sitting opposite him. They finished all his bits and the camera went to that side to do mine. But I was sitting giving him, even if I was not on screen, I was still giving him.
The cues.
Because I think it's correct to do that for actors.
Yes.
Many actors don't do, but I do it, okay? So when his turn came, I thought somebody else will come and sit there. But he said. Then I gave the first take and made some mistake. Then, but the director said, okay. Then he was going to leave. Then I said, Mr. Bachchan, I need to ask you a favor. He said, what? I said, I know he said, okay, but I'm not happy with it. Can I do once more? But I know you want to go. It's already 30 minutes past your deadline. He said, no, sir. You can ask me. I'll sit here. You do 20 takes, I'll sit here. He said, it's your right. I'll sit here and give you those 20 takes. He said. And he said, one more take, he asked. And yeah.
Beautiful.
And and I think about it now, and I'll think, I've seen many actors now, okay? I think that kind of grace is not put on. He's a real person. I've worked with him on another film. All night we had to shoot. So another small role, Teen, the name of the film. We were shooting on the platform on a tramway, and all night. And I would just sit in the chair and fall asleep. And as soon as the director said ready, he would get up and be there before I would get there. That kind of person is really funny. Is okay. Yeah. He's very terrific. He's a terrific person. Okay, so and we talked all night about his early theatre days, his days in Kolkata and stuff like that. So when you see that their human side, you're just filled with admiration for how they are. I see that kind of quality in many actors. I know that people can tell you bad stories about actors, but I can tell you they are very human and very caring many times. Even directors, like I told you about Nikhil Advani or Shujit, who has got a theatre background, Shujit Sarkar.
How was it to work with them, sir? Because your recent project was Mumbai Diaries, right? You had your Mohit Raina, you had that young intern group out there.
They're always fighting with me because, we'll be sitting in a room waiting. There's a dressing room for actors and we'll sit there. There are some little things, peanuts and stuff to eat. And we'll be arguing about politics and,
Wow.
So yeah, I like young people.
Fun banter.
I like young people because I always teach. If you ask me if you didn't have theater, if you didn't do theater, what would you do? I'll say I'll teach.
Any particular subject or just... Would you teach theatre? I'm assuming.
I'm doing it.
Anyways,
I've
otherwise.
done theater all the time, but look, I like science. I would have preferred if I was going to have an alternate career.
Yeah.
I would have been a science teacher.
Scientist also maybe?
Yeah, surely.
You give me that vibe.
Surely, I like science. I'm very interested. I'll make this boast that I may have done the most number of science plays in India.
You have? Yeah.
Yeah,
You give me this feeling of maybe like an APJ Abdul Kalam biopic, and I see a Prakash Belawadi starring in that.
I think that's my hair and my look. I think.
I don't know. Don't you all think so? I mean, the audience sitting out there will agree with me. Have you ever pictured?
I've been asked to play Abdul Kalam at least 4 times now.
See, sir. See, I got that right.
Yeah, but it's never worked out. But 4 times I've been asked to play.
After this interview, it should.
There's a guy in Seattle, an Indian, who wants to do a biopic of Kalam, and he's asked me to play it. Yeah.
I was so right on that aspect of it. Let's sum up this entire political thing in 2-3 questions that I have, sir. Moving to that aspect of life now, from the entertainment bit of it to our political side of it. There was this time where I read about how vocal you were on various issues, and one of them being when, the BJP government, right, when they were in power, now they're not in power, when they pushed a lot for the Hindutva agenda. You had a very nuanced perspective to speak about that. If you can explain that a little bit. You said that, they shouldn't be doing that.
See, my opinion of the BJP in Karnataka is that, the party is the pits, and it's a blessing that they're not in power. That's my opinion of the BJP in Karnataka. It's because of, their identity politics is the worst. It's not only, like Hindutva, it's also, caste-based, And all the parties in Karnataka, unfortunately, are like that, okay? But, I don't like the BJP because, with all problems also, I have been a supporter of Narendra Modi in the last 10 years. I'm supportive of him because, to me, he does what government should do. You should care about the last person, and all his schemes, whether some of you may agree, some of you may not agree, but I think his schemes of giving the drinking water to everybody, to giving bank accounts to everybody, building toilets for everybody kind of thing, is really like, it's dignifying, poverty.
Balancing it off even when you speak about the agenda at the center, sir. Do you think that in terms of their governance in politics, can we totally take away and say that Hindutva is not being used?
I'm sorry, it will be used because it is true. See, look, I vocally opposed, the idea of the Prime Minister being present at the Ayodhya site for its puja, I think he should be a 24 hours Prime Minister and 24 hours Prime Minister for everybody, not just the Hindus. I agree with all that. But I'll tell you, there is a real problem in this country because you look at the other side, okay? You look at the politics of the opposition now. I can describe the politics in 3 words. Identity, identity, identity. They have nothing else, okay? And that bothers me. So my problem with BJP in Karnataka is that they should have dharma. And dharma should mean what we mean in the play. In the play. Dharma is about the contract that we have with each other, with nature. You don't damage nature. You use it, in a way that it's sustainable. That is dharma. I agree to do something for you. I should keep my, I should keep my word. So that is dharma. And I think politics should be about delivering this contract with the people. You're going to get into power so that you lift the poor up, and get them into some equitable, game. So that's my problem. So if I'm saying, am I flawed in my choice? I'm sure I am. Okay? But what is the choice people are giving to people in power also?
To the people in power, right? What would you say about the Siddaramaiah government so far?
I'm going to be controversial. They won't like what I'll say, but I think it's important for government.
Right.
What I'm agreeing with first, I'll say, I think it's important for government to bring up, to deliver basic services at either free or at very accessible, costs to the poor. And what are those basics? I think nutrition you should not crib. You should give them food. It's terrible to deny food to people, and I think you should give them power. You should give them schooling. You should give them basic health care. For sure, you should give them. You should give them roads. All this. I'm worried about so much taxation of roads now. You should give them free roads, the right to walk, and you should give them shelter if possible. You should enable them, and I think you should do, but you should do it in a sustainable way. I'll tell you what I mean by that. I think it was more important to give great primary health care, spend money to give health care. So many thousands of government schools have been shut down because there's no quality. You should have made government schools accessible to the poor. You're forcing the poor to send their children to expensive private schools. That is because you've not done that basic thing, because you've converted that to an identity issue, Kannada medium, English medium. On these issues, I think the government has failed.
Absolutely, so well put. So, you criticized Salman Rushdie when he came and spoke about, India and the focus of how good, well-versed we are in English and vernacular language. In that context, when we speak about Hindi imposition, and the entire debate that happened at one point of time, because if you have to speak in this context, the Tamil Nadu government, for example, are so very particular and emotional when it comes to their language. And do we see that, you feel, when it comes to we Kannadigas in Karnataka, when it comes to standing up for, our language, when we feel that, there could be a possible forceful imposition on that? Which brings me to my question. The entire debate that started about Hindi imposition when the government came into power. Your take on it. What did you feel? Because you stood up for the vernacular language when Salman Rushdie's comment was made, right? So I would want to find out from you.
See, Article 343 to 351.
Right.
That is the offense, The idea that because a majority of the population, the largest speaking population is Hindi, 42% or something they said. So India should speak in Hindi. Yeah, 42%, but where? See, this is a terrible thing. To me, this is a no-brainer. We don't have to have debate on this. And those articles actually mandate that we should all learn Hindi. Right. It was Mahatma Gandhi's idea. That the Hindi Prachar Sabha was started in Chennai. I think Mahatma Gandhi was idea. It was, it's what does it mean? It's to me it's a terrible idea. If you're going to impose a language, I will say impose English then, because English gives them jobs. Why will I learn Hindi to listen to bad commentary on radio? For what reason should I learn Hindi? Now the people are saying, you're saying that don't you act in Hindi films? That's my choice. Yeah. I'm not saying people who want to learn Hindi should be prevented from learning Hindi. Absolutely. I'm saying, how can you say you must learn Hindi to anybody?
So you will advocate saying that it should not be forceful.
I think it's important that the country has a language, because we can communicate with each other. Yeah. And actually the choice was only two languages. I think it should have been either Sanskrit or it should have been English. Because Sanskrit, because I know that the Sanskrit is not the basis for Dravidian languages, but there are thousands of years of history of accommodating Sanskrit words into Dravidian languages. The least may be in Tamil, but the most may be in Malayalam and Telugu. But the thing is, that would have been a more rational choice all over India. Absolutely. We could have adopted Sanskrit, because grammar, officially existed at that time only in Sanskrit, not in any other language. There was an inherent grammar in language, but a codified grammar existed only in
Do you
Sanskrit.
think our Karnataka leaders or our writers, like I told you, sir, like the Tamil sentiments, are standing up very strong for their language?
Let them stand, but you see a lot, there's a flight. I don't know how strongly they're standing. So there's a very strong identity of Tamil, and we should be grateful to them for not stopping the imposition of Hindi, because Pandit Nehru said that that English will also be an official language only for about 20 years, then it'll be reviewed. But it is we owe it to the mainly to the Tamil leaders of that time who saved the Dravidian languages. Let me be clear on that. Actually, there was this great thing. Either I think Kamaraj or Annadurai, I don't remember who said. He says when Pandit Nehru said we'll have two languages, he said when you have a large door, why should you also have a little door? He said, it's very, very good, But, Kannada should be the main language here. And then Tamil should be there. You allow us to all to coexist. Okay, if you want to impose, let us impose also then.
Which brings me to the final leg of the interview. If you have to round up about the city of Bengaluru, right? You have been an active part of politics at one point of time where you fought for the Lok Satta party, right? And if I have to tell you, over the years, do you really think that Bangalore has deteriorated in the status that it has earned? We called it the pensioner's paradise, the garden city. But today?
See, we moved to Jayanagar after my dad built a house there in 1966. I was 4 or 5 years old then. And I've lived in Jayanagar. I grew up in Jayanagar till I got married and moved out, so. And we used to play cricket or football and hockey all around. There were grounds all around. Jayanagar was very beautiful, and we would play. And when we were playing cricket matches, in the people in the outliers, fielding at deep cover or long off, long on, far, you would just ask the house there to give water to drink. And they would come and keep it on the compound wall. They would keep large jars of water and and the glasses, and we would drink water from it. Okay, sometimes there would be roadside bore wells. Roadside taps used to be there. Okay, not just pumps. There used to be taps as well those days. We would go and drink directly from the tap. At homes, we all drank from the tap. You open the tap like developed countries. Bangalore's water in the bottle is also poison now. Okay, so there was a very great Bangalore. Okay, and this is not so great Bangalore. And it's not because outsiders moved in. The people who ruined this city are not people who came from the outside of Karnataka. They came for jobs and they're here. And always the first or second generations just will do career. It takes a couple of generations for them to become local people. They don't participate in local culture till then, okay? If Indians go abroad, they never participate for fourth generation or so maybe, So it's like that. But the people who ruined Bangalore are politicians who got elected elsewhere, and they came here. And they came here not to do politics or to govern or make laws. They came here to do business. They've neglected the places they came from. And they have ruined this city because they have no love for it. So Bangalore has been ruined by exploitation of greedy politicians. They're the main culprits. And they're all people elected elsewhere in Karnataka. They have ruined their places. Okay? To the extent that Bangalore is the only hope for educated people in Karnataka. So other places, say Mangalore, Mysore, Hubli, Dharwad, Belgaum, they may give some jobs, but the main aspirational city for Karnataka is Bangalore. And for that to happen, the only large class you have to blame are actually politicians. They take the first blame. But maybe even larger in some ways. And an intractable problem is bureaucracy. IAS people are the bane of this country. They come and they want to be in cities because they want their children to go to the best schools, and they want to have the best social life, and they want to be in Bangalore. If they're posted elsewhere, barring a few dedicated IAS officers, most of them are just looking to come to the capital city. And the IAS people are permanent government. They don't have expertise in anything. They don't know anything actually, but they'll be put in charge of agriculture, they'll be put in charge of nuclear energy, they'll be put in charge of space. Okay, they're disgusting, that system. It's a British system, because the British put them there as tax collectors, because they were just people who just harass people and collected taxes. Okay, they were called collectors. That's why I think we should dismantle the system. And we can't do that. And Karnataka has IAS officers who prefer to come to Bangalore because of its what they call salubrious climate. I hope we have done enough damage to it so that the salubrious doesn't exist anymore. But I don't see them living. And people who live in Bangalore, my last statement is, people who come for jobs here, who come from careers here, they come, they crib and they crib and they crib and they buy property and property and property. They don't go back as well. And they say, they come and they've done a lot for this city. I'm saying, they come from the boondocks of India. Why don't you go and improve your places? You come here and you're saying because of you, Bangalore is good. Bangalore was great before you came. Now that you're here, it's a little bit dirty. It's a little bit messy. It's becoming terribly polluted. And you should go to where there is a, better, you should go back home actually and improve your home state. So if you want to go, buy. Okay. If you're here, stop cribbing.
Well put, sir. That was really good. What can we just round up by saying that after Parva, what can we see Prakash Belawadi doing? What next?
It's hard to beat this one, to top this. Okay. Because it's big effort, and it'll take me some time to recover from this. But I've been asked to do something on Chandrasekhara Azad.
Beautiful.
And
Hindi cinema?
not cinema. They have asked me to create a text.
All right.
Let me see if I want to do it.
Okay.
But I've done this translation of the Kannada play of Parva into English because I want to see whether it can travel. One, I want to see if there's any scope for it to be made into a film maybe, or a series of films, or a web series. And I'm hopeful this translation will enable or give, will help realize that possibility. So I think from here on, I want to concentrate a lot more on writing. And I hope I can write I've started and I can do a 3-part novel on the city of Bangalore.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We look forward to that then.
1 book every year.
Beautiful. With that, I think that was the closing of our Sit Down with SoSouth episode 2. And it was a pleasure to have you, Prakash, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So much for speaking to us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.